Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of Jonathan A. Levi's book, The Only Skill That Matters, where we will uncover some revolutionary methods that will help you learn and remember everything you want. In short, become a super learner. By the way, before we continue, we just wanted to say congratulations. Congratulations for actively trying to become a better human through education. Just by watching this video and opening yourself to new ideas and concepts, you are ahead of 90% of the population. Most people are stuck in the rat race, but not you. You are taking the steps necessary to own your destiny. So now let's get to the book. We'll skip right to Chapter 5 and onwards, as they contain the most important information from this book. Chapter 5. An ounce of preparation. Oftentimes, when we sit down to learn, we are full of excitement and enthusiasm. We are eager to dive into a new subject and give it our best shot. However, enthusiasm without planning can do more harm than good. A few years ago, an attempt was made to learn Russian. The goal was ambitious, to learn Russian by the end of the year. The study began with a fury, memorizing alphabets and hundreds of vocabulary words, studying grammar, and even learning to touch type in Russian. However, upon arrival in Moscow, it became clear that the preparation was flawed. Despite knowing many words, the crucial element of understanding the 6 different forms for each word, depending on context, was missed. This oversight highlighted the importance of planning and balancing vocabulary and grammar learning. The idea of preparing and structuring learning logically is common in accelerated learning circles. Tim Ferriss, in his book The 4-Hour Chef, shares a framework for preparing to learn anything faster. Deconstruction: break things down into their basic units, such as individual vocabulary words or grammatical rules. Selection: identify the 20% of these units that will give 80% of the benefits. Pareto's principle. Sequencing: determine the best order to learn these units. Stakes: use psychology or social pressure to condense timelines and push oneself to learn faster. This process has helped Ferriss become accomplished in various fields, demonstrating the importance of thinking ahead. Interviewing Zach Evans, creator of the popular Piano Superhuman online course, revealed that most of his students' results come from thinking ahead. He developed a system for breaking down skills into sections and tackling them in the right order. Without methodical planning, learners can fall into bad habits, waste time, or become complacent. Before starting a new learning project, there are several important questions to consider. These questions help determine the most efficient way to learn and prevent the permanent consequences of learning something the wrong way. Why am I learning this information? And how and when will I actually use it? This question helps determine the focus of the learning effort. Understanding the practical application of information is crucial. What level of understanding or knowledge do you need? Different levels of understanding require different approaches and time investments. How can this information be broken down into small parts? How can it then be recombined into broader categories or themes? Breaking information into units and categorizing it helps in organizing and retaining knowledge. What are the most important things to learn based on my personal goals? Applying Pareto's principle, identify the most beneficial aspects to focus on. What is the right order in which to learn this information? The sequence of learning matters. Learning grammatical rules before knowing basic vocabulary, for example, is counterproductive. How will I actually access this information? Organize information in a way that makes it easy to access and use. What will your study schedule look like, and how can you compress timelines? Planning study sessions methodically ensures consistency and persistence. Adding stakes and social pressure can enhance motivation. How will I measure and track my progress? Setting SMART goals: specific, measurable, ambitious, realistic, and time-based, helps monitor progress and make adjustments. What will I do if things don't go to plan? Having a plan for setbacks prevents them from derailing progress. These questions are transformed into a learning preparation worksheet, which is suggested for use at the start of any new learning project. By thinking ahead and creating a methodical success plan, every minute of preparation can save hours of deliberation. Therefore, when setting out to learn something new, ensure that your approach is well planned and your tools are ready. Chapter 6. Why and how to 10x your memory. Years ago, Harry Lorraine, considered the godfather of modern memory improvement, shared valuable insights on the art of superhuman memory. Lorraine's career, which began in 1957, included writing over 40 books, founding a memory school, and making numerous TV appearances, where he memorized and recited the names of up to 1,500 audience members. Despite his achievements, Lorraine's techniques never made it into traditional schools because educators insisted they didn't use memory in teaching. Lorraine highlighted the importance of memory in learning, famously stating, "There is no learning without memory." This underscores the necessity of mastering memory skills as a foundation for effective learning. Rote memorization is often criticized, but not all memorization is bad. Effective memory techniques are crucial for retaining information long-term. The analogy of a garden hose, a funnel, and a bucket illustrates the problem with speed reading courses. If information, water from the hose, overwhelms the short-term memory, the funnel, it overflows and fails to reach long-term memory, the bucket. Without enhancing memory infrastructure, increased learning speed is futile. The human brain, although incredibly efficient, has limits. It uses about 20% of the body's energy and must prioritize important information through the hippocampi. This system is adept at forgetting unused information, making the brain efficient but challenging for retaining vast amounts of knowledge. However, by using advanced memory techniques, it's possible to improve retention and overcome these natural limitations. The idea that memory champions possess unique genetic advantages is debunked by research. A 2017 study by Radboud University showed that average individuals could double their memory capacity in 40 days by practicing mnemonic techniques. Brain scans revealed that memory champions' brains were not anatomically different. They simply used their brains differently. This demonstrates that anyone can improve their memory through practice. To enhance memory, the first step is mastering visual memory. Visual memory is superior to other mnemonic devices due to the brain's natural ability to recognize and remember images quickly. Creating mental pictures, or markers, for everything to be remembered is crucial. These visualizations should be highly detailed, bizarre, and connected to existing knowledge to be effective. Guidelines for creating effective markers. Create highly detailed visualizations. Picture as much detail as possible to ensure vivid and memorable images. Opt for the out there. Use absurd, bizarre, or novel imagery to leverage the brain's preference for the unusual. Leverage existing knowledge. Use images and memories already stored in the brain to create stronger connections. Connect it back. Ensure markers clearly symbolize the information they represent. Examples. To remember someone's name, create a vivid and absurd marker related to that name. For example, imagine Mike Tyson holding a microphone, singing off-key karaoke to remember the name Mike. For foreign language words, break them down into familiar sounds and create a visualization. For example, the Spanish word caber, to fit, could be visualized as a taxicab trying to fit a bear inside it. For numbers, use the major method to convert digits into consonants, form words, and create visualizations. For example, the phone number 740-927-1415 could be remembered as Crazy Pink Turtle. This technique works for almost anything that needs to be memorized, from names and foreign language vocabulary to numbers and scientific formulas. The key is to practice consistently and make visualizing a habitual part of learning. In an interview, Harry Lorraine revealed that he used this visualization technique throughout his career, successfully memorizing large amounts of information, including the names of 1,500 people on live TV. This demonstrates the remarkable potential of these memory techniques. However, visualization is just the beginning. The upcoming tool, referred to as the Mnemonic Nuclear Option, promises to enhance memory capabilities even further. Chapter 7. The Mnemonic Nuclear Option Exercise, Creating a Memory Palace. Relax and visualize. Sit comfortably, relax, and take a deep breath. Imagine standing in the doorway of your childhood bedroom. First corner. Picture two seahorses engaged in a messy mating ritual on the first piece of furniture. Visualize them getting sucked up by a vacuum hose. Second corner. Imagine a container of chunky peanut butter in the second corner. Third corner. Visualize a tangled ball of wires in the third corner, detailed with specific cables and chargers. Fourth corner. Picture your favorite historical photo hanging in the fourth corner. Doorway. Visualize a massive location pin blocking the exit. By visualizing these scenes, you've created your first memory palace and memorized key elements about its effectiveness. The Memory Palace Technique Origins. The Memory Palace, or method of loci, dates back 2,500 years to Simonides of CEOs. It allows for memorizing large amounts of information in perfect order. Power and versatility. This technique is used by all memory competitors and record holders. It's effective for anyone, and can transform average people into memory superhumans. Historical use. The memory palace was used to pass along ancient texts and is mentioned in St. Augustine's Confessions. Novel visualizations. The technique encourages creating novel, bizarre visualizations that the hippocampi will remember. For example, the seahorses symbolize the hippocampi, which manage memory retention. Chunking information. Information is broken down into manageable units, like the chunky peanut butter. Hebb's law. This principle states that neurons that fire together wire together. Associating new information with existing memories, the tangled wires, strengthens retention. Picture superiority effect. Visualizing each piece of information leverages this effect, ensuring vivid and memorable images. Spatial memory. Our brains are naturally good at remembering locations, which is why the memory palace leverages spatial memory effectively. Building a memory palace. Choosing locations. Use familiar locations like past homes, office buildings, or stores. Plan ahead to determine the order and access of information. Logical layout. Think about how to logically lay out the memory palace, such as assigning each paragraph or key idea to a specific room. Linear journey. For ordered information, create a linear journey along the perimeter of the room, avoiding crossing paths. Logical grouping. Group information by themes or categories. For example, anatomy could be divided into rooms corresponding to different body parts. Anchors. Use specific areas like corners, furniture, or windows to anchor visualizations. Avoid overstuffing locations and expand outwards as needed. Interactive anchors. Incorporate the anchor into the visualization for added connections and memorability. For instance, imagine a knife stabbing into a couch cushion rather than just lying on it. Application visualization practice. Create visual markers for everything you want to remember. Place these markers in specific locations within your memory palace. Examples. For historical figures, use distinct images like a washing machine for George Washington. For foreign language words, break them down into familiar sounds and create a related visualization. Effectiveness. The memory palace technique is incredibly effective for memorizing large amounts of information in order. It's based on the brain's natural ability to remember visual and spatial information. This technique leverages neurochemical changes that occur when activating the parts of the brain concerned with location, making it a powerful tool for memory improvement. Chapter 8. Never Forget Again. In late 1878, Hermann Ebbinghaus, a German psychologist, set out to study memory scientifically. Over 7 years, he conducted experiments on himself and others, memorizing 2,300 nonsense syllables to ensure no prior knowledge influenced his results. Each session involved 15,000 recitations, which would be considered a form of psychological torture today. By 1885, Ebbinghaus had made groundbreaking discoveries, published in his book, Memory, a contribution to experimental psychology, which sparked a renaissance in the study of memory. Ebbinghaus discovered that memory is subject to exponential loss. Immediately after learning something, there's a sharp decline in memory retention. However, with repeated, spaced repetition, memory retention improves significantly. This phenomenon is known as the forgetting curve. Ebbinghaus found that with each repetition, the duration for which he retained the syllables increased, eventually making the knowledge almost permanent. The forgetting curve and spaced repetition are fundamental to accelerated learning. Spaced repetition. Despite using powerful mnemonic devices, memories won't stay in long-term storage without reinforcement. The hippocampi in our brains are constantly trimming unused memories to maintain efficiency. The spacing effect states that repeatedly encountering information makes it more memorable. The lag effect compounds this by showing that spaced encounters over extended periods enhance memory retention even further. Ebbinghaus's concept of overlearning emphasizes the importance of continued review even after mastering the material. To minimize wasted time and optimize learning, systems like the Leitner box were developed. This system organizes flashcards into 5 boxes, with review frequency based on how well the information is understood. However, this system requires discipline and can be disrupted easily. Modern spaced repetition systems, SRS, digitize this concept. Examples include Anki, Memrise, and Brainscape. These systems use algorithms to predict when a learner is likely to forget information, optimizing review schedules. For each flashcard, users rate the difficulty of recall, and the system adjusts the review interval accordingly. This method ensures efficient learning and long-term retention. For instance, using Anki, learners can efficiently master large volumes of information with minimal review. An SRS helps maintain knowledge with occasional reviews, even for information that needs to be recalled infrequently. Practical application of SRS. While SRS are highly effective, they can be overwhelming due to their numerous features and customization options. It's best to keep things simple. Create individual decks for specific subjects, such as human anatomy or foreign language vocabulary, and avoid overcomplicating the setup. For information from books, where the goal is general knowledge rather than memorization, importing highlights into an SRS might not be practical. Instead, use tools like Kindle's export feature or cloud-based solutions, like Evernote, to periodically review key points. The Redwise app automates this process by sending daily or weekly emails with your highlights, facilitating spaced repetition effortlessly. Combining techniques. Visual mnemonics alone are not enough without spaced repetition, and the converse is also true. Combining these techniques optimizes learning and retention. Always create visual markers, even if not adding pictures to flashcards. Where appropriate, place these markers in a memory palace to enhance recall further. For example, Gabriel Weiner, author of Fluent Forever, combines memorable photos with spaced repetition to learn multiple languages simultaneously. His upcoming SRS, Fluent, is designed to help people learn languages using this method. By combining spaced repetition with mnemonic techniques, achieving mastery in any subject becomes feasible and time-efficient. Chapter 9. Priming your brain for learning. At various points in university, it was a struggle to keep up with the workload. Even with the use of prescription stimulants, the amount of reading and retaining information was overwhelming. This challenge led to reaching out for advice from upperclassmen, who provided strategies that initially seemed too simple to work. However, these strategies are among the most effective for improving reading comprehension and focus. Focus and attention. Often, when reading, it's easy to drift off or realize that entire paragraphs have been read without comprehension. This issue is common, even for experienced readers, and stems from a lack of focus, attention, and motivation. Ideally, we would only read material that captivates us, but the reality is that much of what we read, especially for school or work, is not inherently interesting. The solution is to trick the brain into paying attention, even to the driest content. The SQ3R method. A highly effective framework for reading is the SQ3R method, developed by educational philosopher Francis P. Robinson. SQ3R stands for Survey, Question, Read, Recall, Review. This method breaks down the reading process into distinct steps that prime the brain for better comprehension and retention. Survey. Skim the content quickly to prepare the mind for new information. Question. Ask questions to create curiosity and motivation, such as, what do I expect to learn? Or, why am I reading this? Read. Read the material, benefiting from the initial survey and questions. Recall. Try to remember the material by creating visual mnemonics after each section. Review. Analyze and connect the new information to existing knowledge and perform spaced repetition for long-term retention. Pre-reading combines the survey and question steps of the SQ3R method. This technique involves skimming through the material at a speed 5 to 8 times faster than usual, focusing on titles, subheadings, and any standout words or phrases. This process builds a mental map of the text and helps identify unfamiliar terms or concepts. Surveying. When pre-reading, skim quickly without trying to read the text in detail. Look for the structure, titles, subheadings, and key terms to form a general understanding of the material. This creates a mental map, making it easier to read the text later and fill in the details. Questioning is essential to pre-reading. Adult learners need to connect new information to their prior knowledge and understand its relevance. Generate questions that create curiosity and engage cognitive biases, such as, what viewpoint will the author take? What do I expect to learn? How can I use this information? These questions enhance focus and motivation, making even the most mundane material engaging. Implementing pre-reading. To practice pre-reading, place your finger on the first page of a chapter and flip through the pages quickly, noting keywords and generating questions. This primes your brain for focused reading and comprehension. From now on, incorporate pre-reading into your routine for emails, blog posts, textbooks, and more. This skill can significantly enhance your reading efficiency and retention. Try it with the next chapter and observe the difference it makes. Chapter 10. Learning to walk on your hands. In various attempts to learn speed reading, many methods were tried, including Evelyn Wood's famous book and the PX method. The best reading speed achieved was 450 words per minute, WPM, with only 40% comprehension. In contrast, Lev could read almost twice as fast with 80–90% comprehension, thanks to the memory and pre-reading tools now available to you. Managing expectations. Speed reading doesn't mean reading a page per second or at speeds of 5,000 WPM. Science shows comprehension drops off at 600 WPM and declines steeply between 700 and 800 WPM. Considering the average college-educated reader reads at 250 WPM, speed reading at 600, 800 WPM is quite feasible. How to speed read. Subvocalization. The voice in your head while reading limits speed to about 450 WPM. Although it's impossible to eliminate subvocalization entirely, you can minimize it to improve reading speed significantly. Larger fixations. When reading, your eyes don't move smoothly, but make rapid movements called saccades. Between these movements, the brain experiences saccadic blindness, where no visual information is processed. Training your eyes to make fewer fixations per line reduces time spent in saccadic blindness, allowing for faster reading. Use Schultz tables, grids of numbers, to practice broadening your visual span. This trains your peripheral vision to capture more words in a single fixation. Optimized fixations. Most readers focus on the first and last letters of a line, wasting half of their fixation on blank space. Advanced speed readers center their fixations on the second and second-to-last words of each line, maximizing the amount of text in each fixation. Progressive overload in speed reading. Learning speed reading requires a progressive overload approach, similar to weightlifting. Start at a speed just beyond your comfort zone and gradually increase it as your comprehension improves. For example, begin at 350 WPM, then move to 400 WPM once comfortable. Using an index card. When starting, use an index card to pace yourself, covering what you've read and timing each page read. Initially, comprehension may seem low, but it will improve with practice. Pre-reading and memory integration. Before speed reading, pre-read, survey the chapter structure and generate questions to focus on. Recall. After reading each paragraph or page, pause to create visual markers for what you've learned. Review. At the end of the chapter, review your visual markers and revisit the material with spaced repetition. Mastery of speed reading may take weeks or months, but persistence will lead to comprehension at speeds of up to 700 WPM. Regular practice ensures you maintain and improve this skill. Chapter 11. Cross-pollination and brute force learning. Who is wise? He that learns from everyone. Jewish proverb. With newfound skills in learning quickly and easily, the excitement to explore new sources, subjects, books, and courses can be overwhelming. Like a tourist at a buffet, the temptation to dive into everything and jump from one topic to another can be irresistible. Many students struggle with this, feeling frustrated by an inability to focus on one subject, book, course, or field. However, there are significant benefits to this seemingly scattered approach to learning. Jumping from subject to subject. A variety of subjects exposes you to different types of knowledge, expanding your ability to absorb new information. Engaging with diverse subjects develops a broader set of learning skills and provides more anchor points of pre-existing knowledge to connect to. This makes learning new subjects easier. For example, someone who speaks multiple languages or plays several musical instruments will find learning a new one less daunting due to the crossover of skills. Cross-pollination refers to the unforeseen benefits of learning one subject that can help in learning another. For instance, understanding Olympic weightlifting and kinesiology can significantly aid in learning acro-yoga. This principle encourages studying a wide range of topics as it creates a web of interconnected knowledge that enhances overall learning. Using enthusiasm to your advantage. Motivation and enthusiasm for learning are precious resources. When feeling particularly excited about a topic, it's beneficial to pursue that interest. Suppressing enthusiasm to focus on less interesting subjects can be counterproductive. Instead, follow your passion and let it drive your learning journey. Brute force learning involves tackling a subject from as many different perspectives as possible to gain a comprehensive understanding. No single book, course, or tutor can provide a complete understanding of a subject. Learning from various sources ensures a more holistic grasp of the topic. The example of advanced corporate finance. An anecdote from an advanced corporate finance course illustrates this point. Despite listening to a world-renowned professor explain a concept for over an hour, the subject remained confusing. However, a quick visit to Khan Academy provided a different explanation that made the concept clear in just 15 minutes. This highlights the importance of exploring multiple resources to find the explanation that resonates best with you. The benefits of brute force learning. Approaching a subject from different angles results in a better, more holistic understanding. The first exposure to a new idea is often fuzzy, as the brain tries to connect it to existing knowledge. Over time, repeated and varied exposures help form strong neural connections, leading to a comprehensive understanding. Brute force learning also encourages spaced repetition and overlearning, enhancing long-term retention without the monotony of reviewing the same material repeatedly. Building a learning plan. When preparing to learn something new, avoid limiting yourself to a single source. Include multiple perspectives and peripheral subjects in your learning plan. Explore tangents and dive into the details. This approach not only aligns with Dr. Malcolm Knowles' principle of self-concept, but also results in a more thorough understanding and less boredom and frustration. Key takeaways. Embrace diverse learning. Jumping between different subjects can enhance overall learning by creating a web of interconnected knowledge. Utilize enthusiasm. Follow your passion for learning when it arises, as motivation is a valuable resource. Practice brute force learning. Approach subjects from various angles and sources to gain a comprehensive understanding. Build a holistic learning plan. Incorporate multiple perspectives and peripheral subjects into your learning plan to avoid monotony and deepen understanding. By applying these strategies, you can transform the way you learn and achieve a richer, more effective educational experience. Chapter 12. Check yourself. You can fool yourself, you know. You'd think it's impossible, but it turns out it's the easiest thing of all. Jodi Picoult, Vanishing Acts. Often in life, we lie to ourselves more than to anyone else. We tell ourselves we'll wake up early and go to the gym, knowing deep down that it's unlikely to happen. While these little white lies are normal and can even be valuable for emotional resilience, they can hinder our progress when it comes to learning. We might believe we've learned something, but in reality, we haven't reached the level of understanding we desire. In the 1940s, educational psychologist Benjamin Bloom and his team developed a hierarchy of learning that distinguished between simply remembering something and fully understanding it. Over the next 16 years, Bloom and his colleagues refined this framework, publishing Taxonomy of Educational Objectives in 1956, known as Bloom's Taxonomy. This framework has since been fundamental in many educational philosophies and was updated in 2001. At its basic level, Bloom's taxonomy looks like this. Remember, the ability to recall something from memory at a basic level. Note that recognize is not included. True knowledge requires recall, not just recognition. Understand, the ability to classify, explain, and discuss information in your own words. Apply, the ability to use the knowledge in practical situations, transitioning from theoretical to applied knowledge. Analyze, the ability to critically examine information, comparing and contrasting it, breaking it down to its essential parts. Evaluate, the ability to critique, weigh validity, support arguments, or dismiss information. Create, the ability to develop original thoughts or works, the pinnacle of learning. This is akin to composing your own music rather than just being a music aficionado. Bloom's taxonomy reminds us that learning, knowing, and understanding are complex processes. To determine where we stand in our understanding of a subject, we need to test ourselves in various practical ways. Testing often gets a bad rap due to its implementation in schools, where exams are more about recognition than true comprehension. However, certain types of testing can be powerful learning tools. Research has shown that self-quizzing and collaborative group quizzes significantly improve learning. For example, a study at Purdue University found that tests requiring inference and high-level comprehension were more effective than continued study. Despite this, developing quizzes for self-testing can be impractical and boring. Online resources can provide ready-made quizzes, but they might not be engaging. Instead, we can leverage the principles of self-testing in fun and practical ways. Practical self-testing strategies. Musical instruments. Instead of hiring a tutor, test your skills by learning a friend's favorite song or composing an original piece. Language learning. Speak the language from day one, as polyglot Benny Lewis suggests, using real-world interactions to identify gaps in knowledge and accelerate learning. Programming. Test yourself by building something with the new concepts you're learning. Performing. If learning an instrument, test yourself by performing for others. Writing and teaching. Write and publish blog posts about what you've learned or teach others, which provides the highest form of self-testing. Testing yourself can be fast, fun, and practical. It's about being creative and opportunistic in your learning routine. Conversations with friends can also be powerful ways to test your knowledge. By incorporating these strategies, you can ensure a deeper and more comprehensive understanding of the subjects you're passionate about learning. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the key insights of the book. We explored how our brains are wired to learn through experience and the importance of planning and structuring our learning. We unlocked the power of the memory palace for memorizing large amounts of information quickly, and the concept of spaced repetition to ensure our knowledge sticks. We also learned how to prime our brains for better focus and retention, the art of speed reading, and the benefits of cross-pollination and brute force, learning from multiple sources and perspectives. Finally, we emphasized the importance of self-testing to gauge our mastery and ensure deep, comprehensive learning. If you found value in this video, please share it with others who might benefit. And if you want a copy of the book and to support our channel, you can purchase it through our affiliate link in the description below. Your support helps us create more content like this. Thanks for watching, and happy learning.